enemy. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he goes mean. He gets caught real big, pissed off quick, and if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. That's the blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel the force of bought in. If you start shit, you'll be hard-lived in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm like the super genius of all time.
Donald Trump loves to brag about how smart and mentally fit he is.
President Trump revealing that he took a cognitive test.
I aced the test. Doctors, that's an unbelievable thing. Rarely does anybody do what you just did.
The truth, Don is dumb.
Yeah, I had a mask on. I sort of liked the way I looked. Looked like the Lone Ranger.
Former Defense Secretary Jim Mattis claims Donald Trump has the understanding of a fifth-grade sixth grader. Former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly called Trump an idiot. And Rex Tillerson?
You still haven't denied that you called him a moron.
As president, he's failed at every subject. His handle on history?
1775. Our army ran the ramparts. It took over the airports.
What about English?
I had the best words.
Shock rocket.
Stink singer. Bipartisan solutions.
I tested positively toward negative.
His grasp on geography.
Building a wall in Colorado.
Colorado?
Belgium is a beautiful city.
And when it comes to science, Trump's arrogance and
Oh my
stupidity are
God.
now killing us on a mass scale.
Relax. It's going to sort of just disappear. I feel good about it. Oh, there's just a feeling.
We're very much going to put pressure on governors to open the schools.
Is the man who has failed at everything, who you want making decisions for your child's future.
Trending.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I just wanted to open with that because that's kind of the direction we're going to be headed today.
It is trending positively negative.
Right. We have the dumbest man possible running our country. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a good show lined up for you today. We've got some big announcements as well. 99% positive that we're going to do this, but we're not 100% yet. So we'll talk about it here. But today we want to talk about a couple things. One, we wanted to focus on how we have a large part of our population that is openly uneducated, and it seems to be how we got into the situation that we are in right now. And I feel like it's been by design. It seems like legislators, a lot of times on the Republican side, want to defund education as opposed to pouring money into it. You know what I mean? You think you would want your future generations to be smarter than you, but seems like over the last decade or two that they've been trying their hardest to brainwash a very large part of the population and have them to the point where they don't even trust facts anymore. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they do not believe it.
How do you bring the country back to the past? By forgetting the future and ignoring it and trying to destroy it.
Right. Like, so the Epstein thing's a perfect example. We've done shows on this for like the last 2 years on how Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were best friends and all the public information that was available. But now, of course, after the election, MAGA all of a sudden is upset about the Epstein files and the fact that Donald Trump won't release them.
Maybe they're not as dumb as they thought they were. Maybe there's just a little smidge of cognitive ability going, wait a minute, we might be being lied to.
I mean, this is so much in their face that you would have to be brain dead in order not to notice that you're being played at this point.
You know that's the thing you said before the show, that like this was something that the right pushed more than anyone. The left never pushed. Because look, are there people on the left on that list? Of course. But they didn't push because they thought it was a non-factor, because they misunderstood fundamentally what drove MAGA. What drives MAGA is scandal and insanity. So now that scandal that was trumped up by Donald Trump and the right is now, they didn't just stop talking about it. They're trying to pretend that it never existed and there's never been anything about it, when they're the side, they're the candidates. They're the voters that wanted the Epstein files so badly, they started setting fires to pizza places, and they were creating other conspiracy theories about laptops and files. And this is their conspiracy that their dear leader is now saying, no, it was never anything. Don't worry about it. Forget what you heard. Forget what I told you.
I know for years we've watched you guys go, now we're against child sex trafficking while you support the guy that was best friends with one of the most notorious child sex traffickers ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew the guy was on his jet. We knew he was on the call logs, but no, it literally took, and this is what I mean about they don't believe facts. It took for them to see Donald Trump make an ass out of himself and be like, you guys are still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Like, because they're like, wait a second, you've been telling us all this time that you're going to release the files. You gave these right-wing influencers and make this big performance out of it with these binders that said Epstein phase 1.
Yep.
And it was actually more redacted than the public information that was already available. And then they deny it.
To make any link between Trump and them.
Right. And then they released the damn videotape. Come to find out that somebody just ran it through Adobe video editing software. It didn't scrub the metadata like the digital footprint. So,
my God.
Yeah, anybody with any kind of digital forensic experience looked at it and goes, yeah, but that's been messed with.
This shows you exactly how the propaganda model eventually will fail, because when you've lied to everyone to get what you need out of them, you've lied so well that it's ignored the facts and ignored reality, and all you're left with to get any support from is the base you've been lying to about everything. When there comes a point where those last few indelible lies you have to strip away for your own security, your own safety, whatever you need to do to stay in power. Yeah. And at that moment, you have turned on your base. Right. Donald Trump never cared about his base. Every decision him and the Republicans made are screwing his base, healthcare, education, whatever it is. But this lie that they built a fervor around is being tossed out, and they're being told, why do you care about this? You sillies.
Yeah.
So
and then I think
away everything, and all they got left is the lies, and now you're taking the lies away from them.
Right. I think the icing on the cake, though, had to be this post. Hold on a second. Okay.
Oh, the one where he literally threw up onto a keyboard?
Yeah. Yeah. This right here was, I think, the icing on the cake.
Look how long it is. Scroll up.
Right. Look, this is a freaking book. I think they took his phone away after this. But this is the part that threw me for a loop. Like, even out of Donald Trump's mouth, like, your base, you must think your base is I can't say the word, but you must think your base is so stupid to believe this. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? You must be kidding if you think your people, even your dumbass supporters, are going to believe this. This is insanity right here. Blaming this on Biden?
Let's not forget where this started. This quote investigation started during Donald Trump's first term. This arrest was under Donald Trump's first term. Giselle, whatever her name is, Maxwell, was convicted under Donald Trump's first term. When they got all that information, they said, we're going to show you who's on it. Now, they never did, because the first minute they opened it, Trump's name was the first one on it. So they always knew they were never going to release them, at least in full, because they knew it was the most implicating thing ever against Donald Trump. And now they're telling you, after they pushed it and kept 2 weeksing it for now almost 10 years, now when they could release it, right? Yet again, we have control, no wall. We have control, no border bill. We have control, no Epstein files.
Yeah.
But you're going to blame that Obama made them up and Biden made them up. Like, my God, they're still saying that this is Biden's economy. They're still saying that they're making decisions because of fixing Biden's mistakes.
Bro, what's his name?
They're doing is destroying this country and lying now to their base to the point it pisses them off because they have nothing left.
Bro, they said Biden, I think it was Tim Burchett. I have the clip here. He actually said that Biden was the one that got rid of the Epstein files. Yeah, that's believable too. Biden was the one that did it. I mean, they blamed Biden for the hurricane or the storm in Texas and the flood recovery and all that stuff. It's 6 months in, and we're still blaming Joe Biden for quite literally everything. I'm surprised he didn't blame Joe Biden. Well, actually, I just realized that today's the 1 year anniversary when we almost got. I mean, not lucky, but he almost got shot a year ago today.
Wait, that long ago?
It's been a year since the
And notice
assassination
they
attempt.
don't use that for anything, okay? Because they know it's bullshit. Because they're not even good at staging this shit. You know what I would have done if I was Donald Trump and them? I'd have been like, "Yo, cut a piece of my ear off. Let's pretend
There's
it's
no
real."
scar. Like, that's what I mean about MAGA. They won't even question the fact that we haven't seen the medical
Or how
records
about
for
this?
that.
How about this? The first time they they got a MAGA guy to do it because they must have talked it up about what he thought he was doing.
Yeah.
So they got the guy to do it, and now they're not talking about it. Why? Because what are they going to talk about? We know who he was. He was a MAGA guy. So they can't even stage these propaganda incidents well. Their Reichstag moment is going to be like Donald Trump dropping his phone in the toilet and blaming it on Joe Biden. Like, that's where we're at right now.
Looking back on it, and now the fact that everybody's starting to see that Israel's evil, everybody's starting to call it out, including the right. They are turning, which is kind of scares me because we know how the Nazis treated the Jewish community, and MAGA does not have the bandwidth to discern the difference between Zionism and Judaism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
one's a religion, one's a political philosophy.
Right.
Come on.
Completely different. But yeah, but they're not even like, that's why I think Donald Trump was just expected this Epstein thing to go away. Cause even the shooting thing, like 2 weeks afterwards, nobody was talking about like this.
But you know what?
Anybody?
Here's the difference. His campaign was not in part based on being assassinated. His campaign in part was based on the Epstein stuff because his base only cares about rumor and appearance. So when they kept saying, "Oh, the Democrats are on it, we'll get the Democrats," all MAGA was like, "Yes, we're so dumb. Right? There's no way." And then years later, no, it's still going to show the Democrats. 6 years later,
and then they always throw like the Bill Clinton thing in there. Like, oh yeah, Bill Clinton's on. We don't give a shit. Put him in jail.
Clinton's on it, and you could prove that he did something bad. Arrest him, try him, and let's see what happens. Again, the difference between the right and the left at this stage in history. And when I say left, I don't mean the people still supporting, the centrist Dems. I mean the actual left, the people trying to move this country in a better direction away from this. The difference between the left and the right, it's not even the same country that these groups are fighting for. It's not even the same set of, I don't want to say set of facts, because facts don't have alternate facts, but it's not even the same reality that we're working from. And why? Because, like Jeremy said to start off, the right has been trying for more than decades. We're talking 50 plus years, not just a couple of decades. They've been trying for a long time to get people in this country so stupid that they will abandon medicine, they will abandon science, they will abandon social progress, they will abandon their own rights, they will abandon their own benefits that they work for, and it's worked. We've gotten to a point where Donald Trump is now president.
I can't hear Mike. I'm losing Mike.
Oh shit! Whoa, we just went all weird on my screen. I apologize.
No. I think it's me. I think it looks like I have a big thunderstorm coming. Mike can't hear me. All right, so I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I've completely lost Mike.
See any?
You're very blurry. I can't hear you at all.
Seem to have frozen.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can still hear us or see us in the comments. We seem to have frozen. Yeah, there's a big thunderstorm getting ready to roll in my area, so I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
I think we just got back. Yeah, okay. It must have been me or something. All right.
No, I think I have a thunderstorm rolling in.
Okay.
So that is probably going to be an issue here in a couple minutes, but we'll try and get through as much of this
let's see what happens. So anyway, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. The point is, as long as everyone can still hear us, if you could just drop something in the comments, that'd be great.
Yeah, please.
Long story short, education is what we're going to focus on in part today, because the dumbing down of a population is how you control them. But what happens when there's nothing left to dumb down? I don't know yet, because we've never seen that. We're left with a bunch of idiots. We're left with a population that does not trust facts, that does not even trust the education they've received. We're left with a government that is actively trying to destroy our public education, okay, and replace that funding by giving it to a paramilitary group trying to torture people via terrorism, via racism, and via hate. Because the money, some of it's going into these assholes' pockets. You know, Jeremy wanted to say the other day, he was saying earlier how much it costs to keep these scumbags operating Alcatraz, and it's like $100,000 a person. Where's all that money going? Who's getting it? Who's keeping it? Who's looking at it? Who's tracking it? But there's plenty of money for ICE now. It's unlimited.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
we're going to show you how big
$100,000 a year for these tents and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't add up to us. But no, we want to point out the hypocrisy. Like, they're spending $100,000 a year per person to throw them in jail. You know what kind of education you can give to every kid in the United States for $100,000?
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. I guess I'll start going through stuff.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Sorry about the disruption there.
So right now, as of the big, beautiful bill, ICE just got a bigger budget than the whole Russian military. Let that sink in. A masked, unaccountable, secret police that does not give due process is about to invade our country with the force of an occupying military power. ICE is now funded more than a majority of the world's militaries, more than Italy's entire military. Only 18 countries fund their military more than ICE, and ICE will be used strictly as enforcement upon our own citizens.
That's crazy.
So, where are they getting that money from other than the big, beautiful bill? Well, they're siphoning it away from education. How do we know that? Well, I got some good information from Liz Mkhitaryan, the founder of Stop Moms for Liberty. She's always good for facts and info. The U.S. Department of Education has confirmed it will be withholding nearly $6.8 billion in critical 8 to 12 funding, including $890 million in Title III funds for English learners. So when they say they want you to come here and learn English, they don't want to teach you English. $2.2 billion for educator professional development. We want to make teachers better, competitive on the world. Nope, now we don't even care if teachers can spell their own name. $1.4 billion for after school and enrichment programs. Oh, you can't pay for babysitting. You can't pay to send your kid to lessons and enrich them and get them ahead in life. Sorry, that's only for the rich. They are destroying public education. And I think the important part of this message that Liz put out is that it will be withholding these funds, which means those funds were appropriated and distributed already by Congress. Right. And now Donald Trump, without the authority of Congress, is saying, we're not going to give you that money. Where's it going? Then they put the bill that cut more money from education. So again, these things are separate.
Right. Here, let me play a video real quick. This is the lady that is, we played this before, and this is just for fun because it's so stupid. Linda McMahon talking about kids learning via A1.
Oh, no, not that.
Letter or report that I heard this morning. I wish I could remember the source, but that there is a school system that's going to start making sure that first graders or even pre-Ks have A1 teaching, every year starting, that far down in the grades. And that's just that's a wonderful thing. Kids are sponges. They just absorb everything. And so.
Yep. Especially A1 steak sauce.
Yeah, A1 steak sauce is known for its absorption criteria.
Yep. If you ever drop or spill steak sauce, just slide your kids over. They absorb it right up. Yeah, but it's disgusting. You're right. One of the comments there is like or Maxwell Frost, and that one woman, I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
she looked visibly shaking. Like you could tell in just her voice, she was struggling to just.
Well, what about that video that leaked where there's literally kids in chains?
In chains, like kids in fucking chains, bro.
Because these people are playing out these disgusting fantasies of being masters over people. That's what this is. It's hyper masculinity and racism and bigotry put into uniform with a badge. That's what this is.
Right now, there is a camp that is nothing but kids. Okay. Infants, teenagers. They are making the teenagers watch the fucking infants, y'all. Like, I don't understand how people don't have a problem with this.
Republicans think teenagers should have children, so there you go. But
they do want to lower the age of consent in a lot of Republican states. So that's
they're not pedophiles.
I think that's why they're
PDF files. That's right.
Yeah, I think they're more. I think a lot more MAGAs would be upset if Donald Trump was, doinking little boys. Now, I honestly think that some
You're
of
right.
these guys
You're right. They're
don't
like, well,
care.
girls
It's
are
little
just
girls
vessels.
because he's still a straight man. I seriously, that's how
They
sick
would
these
think
people
that.
are.
They would think that.
I
That's
guarantee it.
That's what's going to happen when those files do come out, when that list comes out and his name is everywhere. I guarantee you, every MAGA and every sitting Republican is going to go, but at least he's not gay.
Yeah, watch that. Now I'm going to forget her name. I was going to play it yesterday or the day before, but it's copyrighted. The testimony from the one woman. She explains that she was 13.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump was there, and then he forced, or I forced her to do lesbian things to a 12-year-old, or she was 14, and it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But this has all been public information, and I just don't understand how slow you got to be to finally go, what? Oh my God, he's in the files?
The public has been browbeat into being stupid and ignoring the logic in what they're seeing.
No critical thinking skills.
Let's show how bad, because when you start looking at the numbers and what numbers, they might sound high to you and me, but when these numbers that were put for education are now being taken away and expanded and giving to the police, the secret police force, you realize how important it is to keep a population stupid. So, how Trump's bill will supercharge mass deportations by funneling 170 billion to ICE. Critics warn the staggering sum dedicated to the agency in the bill will threaten humanitarian protections and disrupt the economy. It's going to fundamentally transform the immigration system. It's going to transform our society. The Senate passed bill would appropriate $45 billion to build and operate just immigration detention centers, including facilities for families. I thought you're deporting them. What do you need to keep them there for?
Right.
Marking a 265% increase over ICE's current detention budget and enabling the detention of at least 116,000 non-citizens daily.
Yep.
So they could build all these things quick, but they can't build housing for the poor and for veterans.
That's what I'm saying.
Experts say language in the bill could allow families to be detained indefinitely in violation of the Flores settlement in the 1997 consent decree that limits the amount of time children can be detained by immigration officials. The measure would allocate $46.6 billion for border wall construction. I thought Mexico was going to pay for it. More than 3 times what was spent on the barrier during Trump's first term. So he's expanding his lie, and provide billions in grant funding to support and expand state and local cooperation with ICE, meaning they're going to pay police forces to let ICE do whatever the hell they want and support them. Though the legislation allots $3.3 billion to the agency that oversees the country's immigration court system, it caps the number of immigration judges at 800, despite a huge backlog with millions of pending cases. By the way, Donald Trump has said, we got to do something because we don't have enough judges. What are we going to clog up the system?
Yeah, exactly. They don't want them to go to court.
Listen to those numbers. Now let's look at where we're going with education. Here's a graph of the Department of Education funding. Presidents requested change and enacted change. Obama, money for funding for school. Trump, no money for funding for school. Biden, lots of money for funding for school. And now we're back at, we cut the Department of Education. Yeah. Which party wants you to have a successful life and go up that ladder if possible? Which group of politicians in this country, which president wants you to succeed?
But they've actually demonized intelligence in this country. You know what I mean? They've been taught. I mean, like you said, we talked about this before the show, and I talked about it the other day. We have idiots in this country that are targeting weather satellite facilities because these dumb motherfuckers think that they control the weather. Yes. And then last year we had people in North Carolina or Georgia attacking FEMA, hunting, like physically going out and trying to find FEMA workers to physically harm people that were there to save lives. This is exactly why you don't defund education to anybody outside the world. But
let's show even more clearly. School funding map shows latest most impacted by Trump freeze. This is from July 7th from Newsweek.
So messed up.
All right. How much K through 12 funding has been, again, withheld by the Trump administration? The darkest blue is in the 20 billions.
That's crazy.
Look at which states don't have funding withheld or little, mostly because they barely have any education funding anyway, versus all the blue states and Texas that have huge amounts of funding being withheld. Why? Because the only way you could fight the blue states is to make their next generation of kids stupid. This is a long haul. They know this won't change things tomorrow, but they want to fundamentally reshape this country to be ignorant worshipers of Donald Trump and those who succeed him. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at how that changed this country. How white Americans voted by education in 2024. White people with college degrees, it would have been 294 electoral votes to 244 in favor of Harris. White people without college degrees, the numbers were 17 electoral votes to 521. This shows you clearer than anything else that the dumber you are, the more likely you are to vote Republican, vote for lies, and vote against your self-interest, and vote against the self-interest of other people who need help.
Right?
You cannot get more clear than this.
You know what, though? This Epstein case has really gotten, this is a good thing, because we know who to trust. But right now, well, we don't actually, because there's still too many politicians that have been getting
we at
money
least know how to discern information.
Right. And these MAGAs right now they are confused because, one, I've been seeing videos of MAGAs finally realizing that they are Nazis. They are the Nazis. One woman was like, they're serious. Like they really think we're Nazis.
When we were calling them Nazis,
we're
we weren't being hyperbolic.
Right. No, we were calling you that we weren't just trying to be slanderous. We were calling you out for what you were doing. But I think a lot of MAGAs had no idea that we looked at them like this. And then with this whole Epstein thing, they no longer have any trust for the government at all, which is good in a way, because then maybe they won't vote in the future. You know what I mean? God forbid. Like, we don't want MAGAs. I want MAGAs to either not vote. Like, instead of voting for Donald Trump, maybe just not vote, or,
I'd rather
vote
that
third party, whatever. But you know what I mean? We're not going to actively try and parlay with these Nazis and bring them over to our side. We don't need them. We need to focus on,
if you on your own figure out shit that leads you to be against Trump and maybe see things from our perspective, I'll welcome you in then, but I'm not going to burn my energy and my daylight trying to convince you of shit that you have to at this point figure out on your own. You're not going to believe what anyone tells you. So just if you don't figure it out, I don't care. But I'm going to show you even further how sick and twisted this country is becoming by funding ICE, what it really means. Okay. Did you know how much it will cost FEMA to operate the migration concentration camp for up to 5,000 detainees in the Everglades? $450 million every year. Think about that. Is that why there are no FEMA cuts to help people? There are. Why? America needs to rely less on the federal government, right? But we're still going to raise your taxes. Where's that money going? They raised our taxes. Who's getting it? Oh, it's paying for the national debt so that they could give the rich people more tax relief. But let's put it in a different perspective. Here's a couple of ways to look at the size of the new FEMA budget. 2.1 times what it would cost to hire enough teachers and nurses to end both national shortages. That's it. There you go. They could fund teachers and make our education system immensely improved, but they'd rather put kids in cages. 568 times the cost to pay all students public school lunch debt. That doesn't say to just feed kids. Crazy. It says because our kids are carrying around debt because they can't feed themselves. But ICE has the budget they need to run havoc and torture this country.
I'm glad you made that slide, because I read an article about how Kendrick Lamar and his wife paid off over 100 school debts for kids. Like, that blew my mind.
Not 100 individual debts, the
school,
100
over 100 schools. It was even more than that. I can't remember the exact
number.
It
was some absurd number.
But that is almost like, we were going to talk a little bit. I don't know if we'll have time today, because we have a lot of information on the education versus this whole concentration camp thing and the funding they're putting into it. But we were going to talk a little bit about democratic socialism, which is basically like, if people with money had some compassion and empathy at the same time, the world could be such a better place. But we have children in this country right now that are literally in debt. Their parents are at home stressing out because they get letters and stuff from the school saying your child owns this, but we're cool with spending $500 million in 1 year on putting people in tents, making them shit and drink water from the same exact place. You know what I mean? That's what prison toilets are. You got the shitter and the sink is right above where you take a shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's unbelievable to me that people are so excited about putting money into camps, and throwing innocent people into that haven't committed a crime. They're even color coding. They're color coding wristbands like they're fucking Nazi tattoos and shit. Like, this is some straight up like identifying people, and they're making people wear GPS monitors.
Look, there's the basis for this, of course, is capitalist profit. These camps are going to proliferate, and we're going to put more and more people in them. And I said this, they're going to not deport them because there's more money in the private prison system in this country than most industries across the planet. So they want to make sure they get your tax dollars to keep the scary brown people in prison that they promised they would deport, by the way.
Right.
You see how it's working? Now, here's the other aspect of it. The reason we have lunch debt for kids is the same reason our school lunches, and we all remember this, were shit. How many of us ate frozen pizza all the time from our lunch? Why? Yeah. Because in other countries, Japan, England, Norway, all these other countries, not only is the food given to children part of being educated so that every kid has the same abilities and opportunities, but the food is real food. They're actually cooking food for people. But no, in America, education cafeterias are treated like prison cafeterias. I want to make as much money as possible, feed them crap, and get them out as quick as possible.
Right. And we're not even talking about higher education here. Like, what are the odds of going to higher?
You know, higher education is a profit-based structure. Someone said that earlier. We have to revamp how we look at higher education. We do. Higher education. The problem is the point of higher education is not supposed to be an individual accomplishment to make you rich. The point of higher education is supposed to give you a range of skills and knowledge to contribute to society. Again, we live in a time in a political party's influence that emphasizes what you can do for yourself. There is no sense of morality as far as civic mindedness, as far as being a society and helping each other. Everyone benefits if everyone helps each other. But capitalism is about, I want what I want, and I will do whatever I can to take it away from you to give it to me. Ergo, our prison system, our education system, everything. The reason we're trying to fight foods, think about that. They're trying to get rid of as many food safety laws as possible because it costs a little bit more money to make sure you don't have metal shavings in your fucking Fruit Loops. They want to get rid of that because there's just a little bit more profit to be made if they don't check for those metal shavings.
Right.
It's
and again,
not complicated. And guess what? The Republicans will still vote that, and they'll still happily chew their teeth into little nubs and not have dental care because why? That's only for the rich. Can't let the regular poor people have access to anything.
No, they see us as means of income. They don't see us as people.
We are a disposable worker force.
Right. They don't care. They don't care if we die. They don't obviously, because they're more than happy to take away healthcare and food from millions of people.
This is my last bit on ICE and Alligator Alcatraz today, because we showed how the funding for education is not even, I wouldn't even put a less priority. It's being destroyed. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually cancel all school in this country at some point. And I know that's a slippery slope argument, but shit, we're headed there. But what I want to do is talk about the subtle racism in referring to Alligator Alcatraz as Alligator Alcatraz. I've known about this a little bit, and I did some research. There's a couple of a little long paragraphs I want to read, but the imagery should tell the story.
Trigger warning, too. They're not exactly pleasant.
Trigger warning. More. This is not nice stuff, okay? No. Racists and bigots have been the driving force in America since its inception. And the South has been the epicenter of just cruel, evil racism in ways that other countries have mimicked what we've done to do their terrible things. And how much did we love our racism? Well, it became pop culture. So this is a picture, an image from a licorice drop brand from back in the day called Little African.
Jesus Christ.
And if you notice, there is a black baby being stalked by an alligator. And you might think to yourself, well, that's just, whatever. That's a weird image. No, here's the gut-wrenching history of black babies and alligators. Can you imagine an America where that was not true? Can you imagine an America where a child's life was so insignificant that he was intentionally put into a pen of a dangerous zoo animal? In America, when a child was intentionally placed at the edge of alligator-infested water to lure the ferocious beasts for hunters, baits alligators with, and I'm not saying the word, but if you don't know it, that is a racial slur against black people. It's a book, and it's a headline, sorry, reads a Washington Times headline on June 3rd, 1908. The article continues, quote, zoo specimens coaxed to summer quarters by plump little Africans.
That's insane.
Now, people like to say this was an exaggeration, but there are newspapers everywhere that talk about it. There are images everywhere that talk about it. There are interviews from dozens and hundreds of people that talk about it. This is real. The idea that black children are acceptable gator bait was not born in the head of one zookeeper. It was a practice in the American Everglades that inspired lore and occasioned memorabilia.
History repeats.
Yep. In 1923, Time magazine reported that colored babies were being used for alligator bait. This is 1923 in Chipley, Florida. The infants are allowed to play in the shallow water while expert riflemen watch from concealment nearby. When a saurian approaches his prey, he is shot by the rifleman.
That's insane.
In October 1919, the Richmond Times-Dispatch printed what appears to have been a joke titled Game Protection. It reads, "We understand the Florida authorities are going to prohibit the use of them as alligator bait. They say that we've got to do something to check the rapid disappearance of the alligator through indigestion."
Jesus Christ.
A Minnesota paper, the New Ulm Review, printed an article in January 1922 previewing the attractions at the Brown County Fair. In the section about fireworks, the article boasted that there will also be a big colored alligator pushing a fleeing, there's that word again, and many other beautiful designs. Let's look at some pictures.
Dude, that shit kills me, though. They said merch. Said merch.
And guess what they're selling now? Merch about brown people getting eaten by alligators. Here is I'm not saying that word, folks, but you could read it for yourself. It's a prayer. "Oh, Lordy, please deliver me from these gators that's got hold of me. If I only had the chance, I'd give them my pants. If you'd only let me do whatever the hell." I can't even read racism. How about this?
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
That's another product. How about
more merch? More merch.
Look at that. I want you all to honestly look at that. And look at that shit. Now wait.
Yeah.
That is a toy designed to have a baby's replica head. There's no body, so it is meant to inject into the alligator's mouth. But it's okay. Insane. It's okay, because ever since Alligator Auschwitz opened, someone from Alaska decided that we should open Bear Alcatraz.
These people are sick.
This is not okay.
No, I get so furious about this because
they're telling you who they are.
And again, this is not easy to talk about for us, but we like to point out the parallels. Obviously, back in the early 1900s, they were using children as bait in the Everglades, which is where Alligator Auschwitz is. And they sold merchandise and made it a pop culture thing. That's why we cannot allow this to be acceptable in this country.
I agree.
And I'm glad and I'm proud to see people standing up to ICE. And I just laugh every time ICE backs away in full body armor with a fucking assault rifle.
Jeanette, you know what I'm saying? You.
Thank you so much.
You've proved our next story.
Yeah, socialism, I think, is the way to go. Not when we say socialism,
democratic socialism,
right? Democratic socialism, totally different. We are.
Someone's a political system. Read a book.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to talk about racism in this country right now. But we have to call it out. White people, you have to call it out. Okay, it's like we have to take a stand and we have to let the world know that a lot of us are just not like this. Okay, we
Most of
cannot.
us are not like this.
Right, we cannot allow our entire country to be consumed by these evil, uneducated morons that are perfectly okay with putting children into shackles and putting people into fucking tents surrounded by alligators. They literally went around to the different parts of the swamps and looked for the largest alligators.
Like, don't forget,
they sourced out the alligators.
Let's just strip this all down to language. Let's say they didn't build this concentration camp in the middle of the Everglades for any other reason than it was just available land. Let's pretend that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the language they used to sell to the American public the funniness of locking up brown people? Alligators will eat them.
Yeah.
That's that's not funny. Like, I get it. When I watch a horror movie called Alligator, it's funny when alligators eat people. Why? Because I watched a horror movie and it's funny. In reality, it makes you a sick fuck.
No, this is Donald Trump's idea all the way, because he wanted to build the wall along the Mexican border. He wanted to put spikes on top. He wanted to electrify it. This is all facts. Electrify the fucking thing. And he wanted to build an entire moat along the southern border and put alligators and reptiles in it.
He's been saying this for 10 years.
This is a fantasy of his, man. Like, but again, the fact that is all crumbling down so fast. Like, this guy's only 6 months into his second term, and it's completely falling apart because they have complete incompetent knuckleheads running the show. Sean Duffy's the head of NASA. The guy who danced in his underwear on like MTV back in the day, who took over for what? Pete Buttigieg for the Department of Transportation, knows nothing about how infrastructure and the transportation system in our network it works in our country. Damn sure doesn't know anything about NASA. But you know what? Since we're moving on to democratic socialism, I just want to let you guys know that at the beginning of Donald Trump's second term, he signed an executive order saying that from now on, America will be a merit-based system, which means the most qualified person, supposed to be the most qualified person, gets the job.
Pete Hegseth.
Right. So we got Pete Hegseth, we got Sean Duffy, Pam Bondi, we got Caroline Levitt,
RFK Jr.
Yeah, Stephen Miller, like all these people.
Linda McMahon.
You mean to tell me? I think merit-based just means white.
Merit-based means white and wealthy. That's what merit-based means in America. And
let's just watch this video. It's like a minute and a half long. We can commentary while we do it, or commentate while we do it, commentary while we do it. I'm such an idiot. I don't speak English very good. But here's Stephen Miller explaining how this is now a merit-based society.
The most significant crisis that President Trump inherited upon taking office was the wave of racial discrimination, so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies that have taken over both public sector and private sector entities all across the United States.
This guy is a lizard.
Perhaps the most dramatic example of this is that our air traffic controllers were being...
Oh, he's talking about racism against white people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
their ability...
Pause this for 1 sec. Tell me he's not moving like Elon Musk when Elon Musk is all ketamined up. Watch this guy sway like a lizard. Continue.
He is so awkward.
I would estimate that probably 90% of Americans would agree with the statement that airline safety should be based on your ability to keep airline safety jobs should be based on your ability to keep planes landing and taking off.
So here he's saying that anyone that's not white is incapable of running.
Their argument is that DEI is affirmative action.
Right.
In the sense that I have to hire people this month. I hired 2 black people, 2 white people, 2 brown people, and whatever. That's not what DEI is. DEI makes sure people like this scumbag don't say, I'm not hiring you because you're black. Now, they might not say it out loud, but if you only hire white people, the idea that only white people can do a job is, racist.
Right. And then you got people living in a trailer park, no teeth, with a broke down car in the front yard. And they're like, I'm special because I'm white.
Yep, that's what they think. They think this Nazi scumbag believes that when you are born, if you have white skin, you are better and you deserve more.
That blows my mind. Like, is your life so pathetic that that's what you have to hold on to? I'm white, so I'm
Dude, this
special.
guy's in his 30s. Look at him. Look what hate and evil does to you.
He looks like if Dracula and a Nazi had a baby.
And that baby was a
Not on
dildo.
what demographic box you check.
He looks like
President
a thumb.
Trump has ended across the entire federal government all hiring, recruiting, retention, promotion, and training based on race and sex. This includes in our law enforcement agencies. So, again, when we took office,
99%
even in
white.
sensitive law enforcement, national security, and intelligence agencies, we were hiring individuals
Why are you
not on their
walking to the
ability
side, guys? Stand
to
in
carry
front of the
weapons,
microphone.
not on their ability to keep Americans safe, not on their ability
So what's
to
this guy
conduct
titled? The
sensitive
Mr.
intelligence
Burns of the Trump-
operations,
like, I mean, what
but
is-
based upon race and sex. And obviously, that is unacceptable. It's going to be merit-based across the whole federal government.
Merit-based across the whole federal government. This is it has to be the most unqualified cabinet in in world history. Because like we always joke about the movie Idiocracy, but we are truly seeing the beginning stages of it. Like if we continue this path in 500 years, we will be watering plants with Brondo or Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where we're headed. The Crocs should have been the first warning, y'all. Like as soon as people started wearing Crocs, we should have been like, oh shit. And I've wore a pair of Crocs before, so I'm not knocking anybody because they're comfortable. But you know what I'm saying? We should have been like, yo, maybe we should start paying attention to this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people that like Crocs getting in my face. But no, I mean, you know what I mean? I just think it's funny. But no, by design. This is by design. We are a dumb country by design. But yeah, all right. So moving on to democratic socialism. We got about 15 minutes left. I just wanted to play that video of Stephen Miller because I think it's hilarious them talking about merit-based system.
This democratic socialism stuff came about, I think. I mean, we've talked about it before. Sorry, I'm looking for the panels.
Oh no, I actually have a video if I can play if you want me to.
Well, yeah, I'm going to show this dumb stuff first and then play the video, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So this was what prompted me to realize how dumb. And again, this is all part of the education thing. MAGA is this dumb. We know MAGA in general is obsessed with tech bros. We know it.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
And tech bros, most of them, if not all of them, are not our friends because they wouldn't have achieved their status the way they are without the benefit of capitalism. Now, when you have a tech bro say they are going to start a utopian society where all of the benefits go to all the people, that sounds like socialism. If he says we're all going to make decisions in this society that benefit all of us and all of that money will be shared, that's democratic socialism, right? Because those of us who have brains know that socialism is an economic system and democracy is a political system. And if your politicians that you elect to represent you or do their job because they're humans and they enact social policies that benefit all of us to raise our whole country up, that's democratic socialism. So let's look at the language being used here. This was posted, I believe I saw this on Twitter, but I don't remember. A billionaire is building a city from scratch in the desert. They just love doing that, don't they? Not just buildings, a completely new system for living. No cars, no landlords, no pollution. It'll run on clean energy, A1 steak sauce, and a radical new economy. Sorry, I had to do it. This is Pelosa, which ironically sounds a lot like Tesla, the most ambitious urban project in modern history. Now, number one, they're trying to take the urban out of black, for which they used the words interchangeably for years. I find that funny, but let's keep going. The man behind this is Mark Lohr, a former Walmart executive, so someone who built his fortune on destroying small business, destroying neighborhoods to get big box stores there, who sold his startup to Amazon. Now he's pouring billions into a new goal. Build a city that's fair, right? Keep that word in mind. Greener, something that the right hates, I guess, and smarter than anything ever seen. Okay, all right, that sounds great. Think of it as capitalism with a conscience. What? You still earn, build, and grow, but the rising value of the city helps everyone, not just the rich. Actually, the more I think about it, that sentence means it's communism, not socialism. Right. But the idea that there's something that can even be called compassionate capitalism or capitalism with a conscience makes no sense. The fundamental of capitalism is if you can, you take it all. on the backs of everyone for yourself. There's a pie to be had, and your goal is to get the most. Think of it like capitalism with a conscience. I want you to read that again, especially with Jean-Luc Picard there, who champions communistic space socialism, as people like to joke, because if you know anything about Star Trek, it's literally democratic socialism in practice. You still earn, build, and grow. The value of the city helps everyone, not just the rich. That is literally what Bernie Sanders has been screaming about for like 60 years.
Right. And I never intended on being a democratic socialist, because I guess I could consider myself one.
But guess what? The minute any MAGA moved in there and they said, well, you're going to work, that money is going to go into a pool and we will redistribute it based on what we think everyone needs. Are they going to go, that sounds great? Or are they going to go, no, because that's communism, my friend. That's not socialism. What people don't understand is the difference between communism and socialism. In communism, they take it all and redistribute it to you. In socialism, it's determined what the best course of action is for society. Those projects are then funded and allocated fairly across all income levels so that it doesn't burden anyone and benefits everyone.
Yeah, like think of it as universal health care, like $1,000 a month universal income. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Said, in Denmark, they have something, and this is radical, called democratic socialism, and it works. It's not that hard.
Well, most modern day European societies have some form of democratic socialism for the most part, and we're kind of just being left behind, because capitalism is obviously a failure. It is 100% designed to funnel money upwards. Okay, the lie was that the more money they make, that eventually it'll get down to us. Well, it never happened. It never happened. The only way forward, I think, honestly, is the Bernie Sanders approach, the democratic socialism. Like, why are we helping corporations and giving billions of dollars a year to people, individuals? Think about this. The amount of money we give in just money to Elon Musk and his bullshit projects. Imagine how much good that could do if we gave it to, I don't know, kids
here you
at
go.
School and education. You know what I mean? Like, just the money alone that we send to Israel every year, because they get free college and they get free health care and we pay for this shit. So why the fuck can't we have something that we already pay for in another country? That's what pisses me off about this country. We could have so much more, but as soon as you say something to MAGA, as soon as they hear socialism, they think, oh God, that's bad. But like, oh, they're going to bail out the banks. And MAGA's like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, they're saving the bank. But then as soon as you say something about universal health care, they're like, we don't want the government involved in our health care system.
It's funny because the attack on education, the attack on progress also included the attack on the community of Americans going, capitalism is not for us. Okay. It's called McCarthyism. It's called the propaganda of just calling everything socialism, communism, and Marxism. They're not the same things. But if you dilute the true meaning of words, if you dilute what they're intended to do, and you peddle that shit to a base that is stupid, scared, and just assholes, you are going to get them to not only vote against themselves, but vote against the best interests of the majority of America.
We've talked about this so many times, that we have a very large population in this country that has no critical thinking skills and cannot think for themselves. Look at my comment section on any of my social medias, and it's quite literally just regurgitated MAGA talking points. They cannot come up with any original insults. Oh God, yeah. Now they've even weaponized the church. I'm actually glad you said that, because now they're saying the church is okay to peddle to their people. Which candidate they should choose. Like, that's crazy to me.
We don't have the the separation of church and state is something that was not only put into the Constitution, if you understand how language works and the omission of language for the time, but written about by the people who wrote the Constitution. So the idea that there was never a separation of church and state is a fundamental misunderstanding of how our government was formed. What people don't understand is the king at the time was the head of the English church. And church doctrine was that the king was the voice and will of God on land. So the people who were under the thumb of the king thought that that was just the way their God wanted it. So when the founders of America, amongst all their failings, They specifically left out the idea that our leader was imbued with any divine power. Why? Because they wanted the power to be with the people, not religion. If you don't understand that, you didn't read anything of our founding documents, and you are too stupid and indoctrinated to understand that. It's really not that hard.
I think the easiest way we could break it down to any MAGAs out there that may be wanting to listen at this point is that democratic socialism, it benefits everybody except the rich. That's why the rich don't like it, because they would have to pay more in taxes percentage-wise than they do now.
Good job, Pendragon.
You know what I'm saying? So democratic socialism, I guess I'm a Democrat. I never intended intentionally, because I never knew any.
If you do not describe the names of anything, and you sit down with MAGA and describe democratic socialism in a way that would benefit them, they will almost definitely tell you that's what Trump wanted to do. Because they don't know what these words mean. Because education is the strongest tool against tyranny humanity has come up against. Tyranny is never going away, because there's always going to be assholes, and there's always going to be stupid people that live by their fear more than their education. If you make education so broad and available that that can be diminished, you have succeeded in stopping fascism and all of that, and greed. You can stop these things if you put structures in place to not reward it. What is the big, beautiful bill? It rewards greed. It gives more money to the greedy, to the oligarchs, in spite and despite of the people that need it and voted them in. Democratic socialism is for the people. You elect representatives in a representative democracy to vote for your best interests. If the laws allow those best interests and are written by the people that want it to go to them, then it will, and it will screw us. If those people write the laws to benefit us, for the people, by the people, then it benefits us. It's honestly not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, if we could do democratic capitalism for 250
this
years,
is
I'm
an
pretty
important
sure.
point. Democratic socialism does not destroy the concept of free market. Benefits and earning. It doesn't stifle creativity. It doesn't stifle supply and demand. What it does is it makes sure you don't get rich and a kid goes hungry. If one kid in America goes hungry, you fucked up.
Right. Or like a pharmaceutical company charges you thousands of dollars for a drug that costs them a couple dollars to make. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the shit we're talking about.
If there was someone dying on the street and you had bandages in your hand, if they were bleeding out and you could have used your bandages to help them, did you allow them to die, or is it just okay because they couldn't pay you for those bandages? Now, our system probably in some demented way would find you not guilty or not culpable in their death. I'm not saying you chose to kill them, but if you could have helped them, don't you have a moral obligation to? So shouldn't our businesses, shouldn't our government have a moral obligation to help everyone?
I agree. I think we start profit over people is over, man. I think we start putting the people first. For a change, this country's putting profit over people for 200 years now, 200 plus years. It was founded by rich white people, built for rich white people. We got to tear it down first, though. But maybe that's what we're doing right now. Maybe we needed Donald Trump to tear this down
themselves.
They're tearing it down for us. So maybe we can build something better and stronger after this is all over. Because they're not going to win. They're not going to win. They're going to get desperate. They're going to do some crazy ass shit, and I guarantee some people are going to get hurt, if not die, because of this. But they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Even ICE is so unorganized right now, or is it disorganized? I don't know what the word is. But you know what I'm saying? The communication between agencies is fucked right now. They don't have a clue which way to go. So the more this happens, the more the scandals happen. People are, especially this Epstein thing, they have 100% lost. They're burning their hats. They're precious MAGA red hats. They're burning them.
Didn't I say a few weeks ago, my wife and I were driving around. We live in a MAGA area, and there were a lot of houses that had a dickload of MAGA stuff. We're talking, it was thousands of dollars of signs that they had made. All right. And they're all gone. We still have one or two super MAGA houses, but we still have some houses that took down their MAGA shit and put up just Republican shit, put up Christian nationalist shit. In a time when you are here to gloat, you won. You have full control over the government. You have full control over the Supreme Court. You have everything you wanted. You have concentration camps. Your education system is being destroyed. You won. And they're taking down their Donald Trump stuff.
I know, right? They're embarrassed. They're embarrassed because they got caught.
And you're right, Jeremy. It was
yesterday.
yesterday the video came out of some MAGAs burning their hats.
Yeah.
And you know how you know it's true? Because for years now, MAGAs have loved to make videos of themselves burning shit. First it was Barbie dolls, then it was Bud Light, and now it's MAGA hats.
And that, I'm going to enjoy the downfall of Donald Trump. And you know what? I'm glad that MAGA is losing all confidence in the government. Good. Maybe that means they won't vote in the future. And
I hope so.
Okay. But at this point, I don't think maybe the midterms will be okay. I'm still skeptical on whether or not we're even going to have elections at this point. But just watching how incompetent these people are, the less of the public's attention they have, and the more the public doesn't trust them, the less they're going to be able to pull off.
The Republicans have won the elections they've won for 100 years.
Yeah.
Specifically 50 years, because they are manipulating and lying to a group of stupid, selfish, ignorant bigots.
Yeah.
When those people don't vote for you anymore, who votes for you?
Right. And now you're going to have to see the Republican Party. They're going to have to make a choice in the near future. They're going to have to make a choice on whether to release the Epstein files or to cover it up for Donald Trump. Because I guarantee if the Democrats had any balls, any spine, they would be going full into this. And I think somebody did say they're going to force a vote. All we need is for them to force a vote. If every Republican votes against it, then you know damn sure 100% without a shadow of a doubt that the Republicans are the party of pedophiles and that a party of they protect sexual predators. Why do we have to keep talking about it? Like it's blatantly obvious at this point who is not for the children. You know what I mean? We're talking about the party that literally wants to lower the age of consent for girls. Republicans. And I've seen videos of state reps literally trying to argue why they should be allowed
Well,
to
girls
marry
are most
15-year-olds.
fertile when they're 13 to 15.
Yes! Like, what the fuck?
I don't give a fuck. The fact that you used the words that girls are more fertile underage, you should be stripped of your position and investigated immediately. That's how a fair, reasonable
seize your
country
hard drive.
functions. If I said right now, I diddled a kid, you don't think that maybe you should take that seriously? I do.
I totally agree. And I don't give a shit who's on the list. I don't care who's on the list. I think everybody should go down.
I'm going to go out on a limb. If the first name on the list with video evidence, written testimony, and genetic samples like DNA was Barack Obama, I'd be the first person to demand his arrest.
I agree.
And a grand jury brought up, because that's how those of us who hold their elected officials accountable treat them. We don't worship our politicians, because our politicians, you're the ones that say all politicians are bad, but then you, vote for the politicians that tell you what you want to hear.
I know.
I don't get enamored when a politician says we should make school lunch for free. What I do is go, okay, show it to me. Show me how you think you're going to do that. And if you didn't do it when you had a chance, did you not try and do it, or did you get voted down? I keep myself aware of what's happening in my government, so I know how to vote, so I know who's fucking with me. It's not that hard.
Some of these men, though, like it blows my mind how a man, like I can't idolize another man. Like to me, that's just weird. I can respect another man, but I can't like sit there and be like, "Oh my God, that's all I think about."
Yeah, but that's I don't idolize another
so
person
weird
that way.
Right,
I don't idolize anyone that way, because humans are fallible and they have motives, and I can't trust you implicitly.
Exactly, man. But I see, like, I'll be playing Call of Duty, and you'll have people. You know how you have the clan tag?
Yeah, and they're all
for them. It's spelled KLAN though. Clan tag. But they'll put Trump or MAGA as their clan tag. I'm like, y'all are.
Come on.
The weirdest.
Then those guys go into those games where they find all those gamer women who kick the shit out of them, and then they cry and whine and leave the game.
Yeah,
that's what happens every time.
Because most of the people I play with are female. I prefer playing Call of Duty with females. They're much more fun and they're much less toxic. You know,
and they're good. They're good.
Yeah, they're extremely good. So that's all we have for today, I think. But the big news. As long as Mike confirms it with his wife, I'll be going to New York City on Thursday. Because the Good Trouble Lives On event is going to be happening on the 17th.
Now that one's later in the day, so
yeah,
people might be able to not only watch it on other streams. I would hope you would watch it on ours.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool, because I would think a lot of you might be out of work. You might have some time. You could stick it on your car on the way home. Just listen to it. I know we've said this before. I may or may not have bought a microphone with our logo on it. So we're going to try and do some street interviews finally. I'm starting to watch other people do it and get a hang of how to do it. So
yeah,
we're going to
try have some pre-prepared questions or something like that. We could probably
ask simple people. Stuff. Just fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, and that's from 5:30 to 7:30. And I'm hoping to be streaming before that, just kind of walking around the city and all that stuff. So we're gonna have a lot of fun on Thursday. Also, tomorrow I'll be back on with James doing the Derp State, and then Tuesday, Wednesday I am not going to do a show because I'm going to be redecorating my studio. Got a couple dollars together, and I'm going to upgrade my setup here, so make it look a little more professional. And then
getting there,
trying to figure out some more on location stuff I can do too, because I want to go back to DC as well.
Yeah,
but New York City would be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and don't forget we'll be back on tomorrow with James doing another episode of the Derp State. We got some fun topics to discuss. We want to keep it a little bit later.
Things are
most
still
likely
derpy.
We'll be talking about Epstein again, and we're going to continue to nail that one home until everybody gets through their head.
Look, it's a good idea because even the MAGA world can't stop talking about it. So if a search for Epstein puts our information over something else and maybe they get a little educated or a little humor, I'll be okay with that.
Also, I have a mission that I gave myself. I need to get myself a little cheap burner phone. Probably give me a little flip phone or something like that.
To be able to bring
and well, I found an unredacted list.
We do need to do more of this.
Well, I found an unredacted list. Keep doing the YouTube shorts. Yeah, I make a lot more videos on TikTok. I cannot post all my videos on TikTok though on the YouTube because of the YouTube ad partner policy on YouTube, because I drop a lot of F-bombs when I get mad. So if you guys want to follow us though on TikTok, I do a lot of videos.
We're both starting to post more on TikTok. I still do Instagram. I'm interested in TikTok because it seems to be I'm getting more views, and I'm really just trying to get obviously our message to more people as possible. So I know a lot of you might not use TikTok. I'm not going to say to go start using it, but if you do, you can be very careful with who you follow and how you interact. I don't actually watch many videos on TikTok, so if you want to keep it to just who you want to follow, just do it that way.
I find TikTok to be an extremely good way. There are some people on TikTok these days that are amazing at doing investigative work. I mean, truly incredible the amount of due diligence some of these people do to put a story together. And I'll fact check everything. I do not take anything. I take everything I see on the internet with a grain of salt. We double check everything. And if I say I think it's not real, I'll tell you right up front. Like the unredacted Epstein list, I have it. I don't know if it's real though. That's the problem. So I wanted to get a burner phone and start calling some of these numbers.
You know what?
I'll see if I can get a hold of somebody in Israel.
What I want people to understand,
that'd be hilarious.
You'll
have the videos.
And I want to say it again. We're not trying to plug TikTok because we're making bank. There's a lot of people that use TikTok. Actually, they do a lot of lives. They make their living on there. And it's a meager living because it is a difficult platform to really make consistent money on. We are using it the way we've used all our social media to try and funnel people to our channel on YouTube. Yeah. So we're not doing lives where we're going to ask you to give us gifts. I respect people that do, and that's their living, but that's not what we're doing. We're just making more videos for people to see. So maybe what we do, Jeremy, is between you and me, we come up with a list of people that we think people could follow on TikTok, and maybe we present that as a package for people to do if they want to follow and get some more content.
Yeah, because I think that's the most overwhelming part of TikTok. So when you first get on it, the algorithm doesn't know what you like.
But we can help you with content. Like I forget her name, and I apologize. She's going to be on our show again with the education and the
Election Truth Alliance and smart elections.
Yeah, so like we want to again, we're trying also to get in contact with more people that are like-minded, and there are a lot of people on TikTok. So I understand if you're hesitant, I really do. And with the M2 thing coming, I don't know that I want a government-based operation.
I will not be using that.
We'll worry about that when it gets to it. My opinion, it's not going to actually work, and it's not going to function, and never know
it's not going to happen.
Disappear. But until then, Jeremy and I are going to spend some time this week, and we're going to try and come up with a list that we think people should follow on TikTok, and hopefully that will get some of you to get some of more of our videos.
Perfect. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We love you all. Thanks for the support. Also, don't forget to go to our link tree in the description of this video. It's also on our channel pages. If you want to donate, please do. We have a GoFundMe set up. I think we're like halfway, not even halfway to our goal. $500 for this live stream event on Thursday, but it's okay. I managed to pull some money together. I did a second mortgage on my house just to pay off some debt. And, my payments going down like $500 a month plus we're
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So it's beneficial.
You say down?
Well, yeah, compared to the loan payments and shit like that.
Yeah. That's
consolidate
awesome.
everything. It's not bad. But right now with the interest rates are going up and I have no idea what property values are going to do. So figure now is the time to do it.
They're going goofy near me, let me tell you. But
if the recession hits and the market drops, then houses are going to be worthless. You know what I'm saying?
I have a house next to me that is not that impressive, that is on sale and just sold for $750 million. When you are here Thursday, I will walk you next door to my house and show you, and you're going to go, bullshit.
You could buy like a couple city blocks in my area for $7.5 million, like in the rural areas of Pennsylvania. But no, we love you guys. We love you all. This has been an amazing journey. And honestly, the first half of this month has been tough, and we've been grinding it out in the second half of this year. I mean, it's this year, first half of this year. Second half of this year is going to be amazing. We have a lot of fireworks. We're going to watch Donald Trump spiral in real time. And hopefully, maybe we needed somebody as dumb as Donald Trump to tear the whole system apart.
I guess.
To make people lose faith in the current way things are set up, then we can possibly build something even better from the ground up. But we got a lot of fighting to do. We cannot rest. We cannot stop. If anything, we need to turn the volume up.
Get out there.
Gotta be louder than them. They're starting to be ashamed of their actions. They're
spread information. Honestly, vet your information, spread it, send it to us, send it to other outlets, keep the truth alive, and keep pounding MAGA with the truth. I'm not saying go out and help them, but just blast the truth and they will eventually come to terms with it. Some of them will, some of them won't. We'll see what happens, but never give up on the truth. Never, ever give up on the truth.
Yeah, some of them never will come around, but we do have a young generation that needs some guidance. The next generation, Gen Alpha, they're going to need our help. They are going to be desperately needing our help to be able to. Media literacy is going to be a big thing in the future, especially with these AI videos that are coming out. These AI videos are scaring the shit out of me. God, Castro's Soros checks. I know that's why I put that with Soros funded PSYOP to freak MAGA out. I wish there was Soros funding, man. Shit, God. I mean, seriously, like they honestly believe we get paid to do this by George Soros. That's funny to me. That is truly funny. Oh, you sent me a TikTok message. Perfect. I will check that out.
I think that's something we need to do. We really want to help you. And trust me, I want to stay away from the toxic bullshit too. So we'll start working on like a list of like a Blue Sky does, how they have like
yeah. The starter.
So let's do one for everyone on TikTok so they don't have to deal with the shit and they could start their algorithm right.
That's perfect. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. We love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Derp State with a comedian.